Okay, the first trick line we're going to get into is, you can call it a dip, an oversway, call it anything you want, all right? We're going to call it a dip. What's going to happen here is, first of all, you have to get the body spacing correct between you, and that is when the lady steps forward, her right foot is between my feet, maybe a little closer to my left foot. As she steps forward, guys, you need to get your arms out of the way so that the lady's hand can wrap all the way around you. So as she steps into me here, she's going to wrap all the way around. I have my knee slightly bent. Her hand comes all the way around where she can hold on there. Okay? Do that from the front now. So as Sarah steps into me, I can let her hand come around behind me. I can then let it go. I have my hands here. She's wrapped all the way around. Okay? Try it again here. Holding on to my microphone cord. Okay, do it again. And let's put your hand inside of it. There we go. Now, once you get to that position, ladies, I want you to note where Sarah's legs are. Let's turn this way, scooch this way. See how her left foot is pointing almost right at, her right foot is pointing almost at the camera? So is her left foot. When she turns from this position here, I'll keep that pushed out a little bit. As she steps into it, her right foot is going to pivot all the way around so that her thighs can come together. A lot of ladies, when they do this, keep their right leg pointed out this way in relation to this line. It makes it hard for her to go back. Okay? Now if we do it on the other side, she would step her left foot between mine, reach around behind, so her hand is coming around, holding onto my waist. All right? And this takes her back into it. She can let herself back. Go ahead and go back. There you go. And come up. Gentlemen, what you do is that if she's on the right side, you're using your right knee. Both knees are bent a little bit. As you want to take her back, you just take her over your knee, and then you recover by bringing your weight back to the other foot. If she's coming over to your right side, as she steps into you, your knees a little bit bent, and as you transfer your weight, this is what allows her to get her back over your leg and to extend out. Now to bring her up, because her hand's on your waist, all you have to do is shift your weight. That's enough to pull her center of gravity back up. If we were to do this relatively quickly, and don't worry about it, just go ahead and grab around the back. And she's going to wrap, go back, and come back up and out. I don't have to use my arms whatsoever. I really have to trust that the lady knows her part, knows what she's doing, and that she trusts me to know that my part. If we did this from the side now, this way, what I want you to notice, gentlemen, is how I'm going to keep my weight centered over my foot. I'm not going to try and push the lady down. I'm really going to think of, if she really starts pulling that way, I'm going to let my left knee come more forward and take my body weight back a little bit to compensate for that. So as Sarah steps into this, to here, and she wraps around, and she goes back, if she were to go way down, I could pull back away from it. My weight now is definitely allowing her to come up. My weight stayed over my left foot. This allows me to keep my right foot pointed. I'm transferring as she comes in. As she goes back, I can go down into my knee just a little bit. Guys, what's happening here? The hip flexor muscles. Right leg, left hip. They're not really pulling into each other, but that's what you're holding. And if the lady pulls back, you can allow your hip to go forward just a little bit more to compensate. All right? That's one way to do the dip line. You can do it other ways by letting the lady hold on from the shoulder position. The legs are exactly the same, but you can now go back this way, and she can hold on with the shoulder line. She gets a much longer extension here into it. All right? One of the tricks that we do in our waltz that's not on our waltz tapes is, and this is a really, really nice one. Ladies, if you step in and you step onto your right leg, then you hook your left foot behind, and you have both hands up in the air. The guy has his left hand around your body. Now as you turn, now you can just let that left hand come over his head. As you lay on back, he has his hand there. He doesn't really need to have it there, but it's there kind of as a decoration. And you can bring the lady back up. Ladies, what you're doing as you're stepping into that is you're allowing your weight to come onto your right foot. You're putting your left foot behind. Now you're turning on the left foot. And you let your right foot go down, and you're ready to go. So remember, ladies, as you step into that, as Sarah were to come into this, boom, boom, to here, she can be flat-footed. You can think on the balls of your feet. Guys, you have your left hand around here. You create the illusion of turning her by rolling her as she turns on her left foot. She finishes the turn, and she starts to go down. Her weight's on her right foot. As she starts to bend, her left foot might slide forward just a little bit. My foot will extend and point. She grabs hold of my shoulder, and she lays on back. All right? To step into that, some arm work that you can do out to the side is that as Sarah starts to come into this, her left arm is going to drop down as she starts to turn. Her right arm would come down. Her left arm would come up. Her right hand would come up. And then her left foot would hook behind. And she's into the movement. What we want to try and do is space it in such a way that she's in between my feet. Guys, that's up to you. When you get an idea of where the lady's at as she turns, now she's here. She's in both arms. I roll her, and then I catch her. When you get really good at that, something that we don't do, but when you get really good at that, you can lay the lady way over, and guys, then actually you would be losing. I'm going to lay her over, but I'm not going to turn her in that position. If she were to hit here, when she hooks behind, if I were to let her lay way over, so her weight stays on the ball of her left foot, hook your feet close together. There, okay. Then, and she keeps perfectly straight and not bends her knee. Okay, try it again. Now, she's staying perfectly straight. I'm going to lay over so all the pressure goes onto the ball of her foot, okay? And at that point, I would still spin her around her left foot and then let her fall on back, okay? The idea is that this is a theater arts type movement, but you can lay her over a long direction, and then you roll her in your arm very quickly. Ladies, you still pivot around the ball of your left foot. As he starts to lean you over, you're right there, and you turn on it, your right foot catches you, and then it lays you right out. He can take you to like a 45 degree or even further, depending on how strong he is, how light you are, and how well the combination works, okay? And that's a very, very nice trick to do. You can do the same type action when the lady comes in. If we were to catch her with both arms, left arm coming up, right hand coming out, my left hand's going to come around to Sarah's shoulder, right around her armpit, and the right hand's going to go underneath, okay? And if we do this in our cha-cha, so as the lady spins in on this, she's spinning, bam, bam, dun, 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 dun. And you can see she's hitting a dip line sort of here. As I start to turn her, she actually lets her weight come forward a little bit, and then she's back into it. What this does is it drops her head underneath. Okay, so let's break that down. It's just it's an illusion again. It looks like a lot more is happening than what's really happening here. The most important things are finishing one line before you spin the lady into the next. So as the lady turns from here, we're getting that dun, 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 dun. All right, the first thing is, see this line here. All right, she's now spinning around her right foot, and she's finished, popped her left foot forward again. All right, I have her now here, and we can finish this line by taking her back a little ways. And legally, only in the master solo can I take her down, her head past the hips, the waist action here. So I can take her down a long way this way, and that gets into another step we're going to do in a minute called a death drop, which is not a legal step, but I'm going to show it to you so that you can use it out socially or for shows and exhibitions and things like that. But you cannot use it for competition. You can't use this past the dip point. And all I'm doing here, remember that dip I showed you a little bit, you see where my knee is, how it's supporting there, then I would bring her back up and take her into something else at that point. So let me show this from this side now, so you can get an idea of how the hands are working. As Sarah spins in, first thing I'm doing is allowing my left hand to catch right at her right armpit. I'm allowing my right hand to go across her back and up into her arm, okay? As she starts to turn, her head will just drop under just a little bit and pop back out. If you do it softly, you can use it in just about any dance. Let's show it from the back side. From here, Sarah's just spinning in a three-step turn. 1, 2, 3. On her fourth step, she's setting herself up into a balanced position. As she's hitting that fourth step, I'm bringing my right hand behind her. You can see my feet are set up. She ducks under. Okay? If we showed it from an angle now, again, watch Sarah's three-step turn. Her fourth step, she's already completed the turn, steps and places her. And that's when I want to set my arms up. I'm really, guys, creating a nice curve here so I can get underneath there and catch hold of the outside arm, the inside arm here. So she's doing 1, 2, 3, 4. Now there we are. You can see as I'm setting myself up, my hands across her back. Now she turns on her right foot. She comes out, she lays back, creates her little line there, and comes back up. Ladies, you do this all yourself. The man does very little help in holding you up. If he sends you a long ways back, you really got to stay pushed up through your hips. And that's one thing that I didn't mention a minute ago, and we'll do it on the other side now. Step back just with that foot. Just step back with it a little bit. Okay, if your hands are out to the side, ladies, and I have my hands here, Sarah's going to stay pushed up through her hips as she allows her left knee to bend and lays back. But she's staying really pushed up. If I let her go back further, she's really pushed up, and I'm just helping support that little bit of weight up here. Very, very light. The further I let her go, the harder that is. Okay? Now, those are some dip lines. We'll be right back with another line for you.